My name's Kyle Horton. I'm an associate professor in the Department of Forestry and Natural Resources at Purdue University. Spring peak bird migration is starting throughout most of North America, but in Indiana, peak migration is going to happen really the first 3 weeks of May, and we're going to see a tremendous number of migratory birds moving throughout the state. When we think about bird migration, especially spring migration, any given night can see a tremendous volume of migratory birds passing through. And so let's say at the scale of the state of Indiana, we might be seeing hundreds of thousands, if not tens of millions of birds flying over the state. And the diversity of those birds can be quite large. During peak migration, we might be seeing dozens of warbler species or sparrow species, grosbeaks, tanagers, and thrushes all moving at once. And so we just have this tremendous biodiversity moving through. And again, this is going to be true not just in Indiana, but really any state throughout the United States. Yeah, tracking bird migration can be quite the challenge. Most migratory birds actually move under the cover of darkness. So think of most of your songbirds are going to be migrating at night. And so that presents a number of logistical challenges. One of the tools that we use to quantify bird migration throughout Indiana, but also throughout the United States, is actually the use of radar technology. And so the same radars that you might turn on to look at weather passing through your given area, think, is it going to be raining? Can I see it raining on a TV screen? Those same radars are actually what we can use to quantify the movements of migratory birds at massive scales. And so on a given night, these radars can detect up to tens of millions to sometimes a billion birds crossing throughout the United States. During spring peak bird migration, we also generate forecasts of where and when birds will be flying across the United States. This pairs with that technology that I was mentioning using radar data. And so we can both quantify their movements on a given night, but we can also forecast when birds will be flying on any given night. And those forecasts are updated multiple times a day. You can see how many birds are predicted to be flying over your county, your state, your given region. And you can see those forecasts at birdcast.org, and they're updated multiple times a day. And you get your latest updates on bird migration, spring or fall, at birdcast.org. Migratory birds are really important for a number of ecological reasons. They serve as indicators of ecosystem health, and so quantifying their movements, their status is really important. But also, people really like seeing migratory birds. Think of your colorful Baltimore oriole at your bird feeder, a rose-breasted grosbeak, or an indigo bunting. Bird watching is one of the most common hobbies that folks have. And so seeing where and when those migratory birds are going to be passing through your given park in your backyard, we can use tools and technology to determine where and when they'll be moving through. Yeah, if you're looking to see migratory birds in spring, there's a number of key features to be on the lookout for. Coastal regions see a lot of migratory birds piling up as well, and so think of coastal Texas, for instance, Louisiana, Florida, anywhere along the east and west coast of the United States. We'll see high concentrations of migratory birds. As you move inland, start thinking about the habitat as well. Many migratory birds are going to be concentrated along rivers and streams where there's good habitat and ultimately good things for them to be eating, insects primarily during spring migration. And so really you can see migratory birds anywhere in the United States, depending on the time of the year. And so we think a lot about, if you want to see small migratory songbirds, look for a forested patch. And so that might be a local park, it could be in your backyard. There's any number of ways to enjoy migratory birds during spring migration. Many migratory bird species are actually on the decline. We've seen study after study documenting their decline. And so we like to advocate things that folks can do to try to protect these migratory birds, to help them safely pass north or south, depending on spring or fall migration. And so there's a number of quick things that we can do. One of the things that birds encounter during migration is actually colliding with glass, whether that's on a tall skyscraper or a residential area. And so there's things that we can do to treat our glass, that we can put decals on our windows to try try to reduce fatal collisions of birds with glass. There's things like reducing light pollution. Migratory birds are largely attracted to lights at night, given that they're mostly migrating at night, and so reducing light pollution can help. Planting native vegetation can also help them along that migratory journey. Really thinking about providing food to fuel that migration. Migration's a really energetically expensive behavior that these birds are doing. And so the food and resources that they ultimately will find on that journey becomes really important. And so native plants have been shown time and time again to be the best food source for these migratory birds. If you want to enjoy them a little bit closer to home, setting up bird feeders, putting out seed, jelly for orioles, peanuts to see blue jays, so on and so forth. And so there's a number of strategies that we can do to both enjoy those birds, see them more frequently, but also allow them to safely pass through our given areas.